Hello friends, I am Dilip Singh. Welcome to the fifth CSS lecture of the tutorial series for web programming. Today we will learn uh, some more on CSS classes and CSS ID selectors, right? So CSS class and CSS ID selectors, which already we have seen in the previous lecture video, but today we'll see these with more detail and with division element, right? We'll see how we can use CSS class and CSS ID selector with division element in order to create a page layout, or in order to create a division in our web page, or in order to create sections in our web page, right? So let us start how we will do. So before starting, let's see what is the basically you maybe remember that what is the CSS class and CSS ID selectors. Okay, so a class selector is a name preceded by a dot, right? Dot symbol, you know that dot. Okay, and the ID selector is a name preceded by a hash character, right? So ID is preceded by a hash character, and the difference between an ID and the class is that an ID can be used to identify one element, uniquely identify one element within the page, whereas the class can be used to identify more than one elements within the within the our web page, right? Okay, so let's start the uh, demonstration portion here. So in order to uh, see how this class and ID portion work, let us let's start with changing it to our CSS class and ID selector. So this is the new title for our page. Okay, and that the previous styles I am deleting it. This is our previous web page that we have used in our previous lecture basically. Okay, so here in this web page we are having currently one heading and one paragraph. Okay, and now let's create one division. How we'll create the division? Using div elements, and I'll close the division. So this is how we have created the division in our page, the section in our page. And within the division I will put, suppose one heading h1, second heading. Okay, I'll close h1, and then suppose I am having one para within it. Okay, so this is a second paragraph. Okay, all right, now so this is a division element. Let us create another division. Okay, here I will create another division, div. Okay, and I will close that division just before the second division here. Alright, so here you can see we are having two division. One division contain only one paragraph and the other contain two element, one heading and one paragraph. Okay, and this heading, first heading, is not under any division, so it's a outside all the division in our web page, right? See, if I will save it, suppose in the desktop, here, and let's name it divisions dot html. Save. Now if I will run or see division.html into the web browser, let's see how it will look. There's a first heading, and this is the first paragraph is within the first division, the second heading, and this is in the second division. But right now the division is not, we can not see visually that yes, this is another division and this is another division here in our web page. So how we can do, we can use CSS in order to visually appear the sections or division of our web page in front of the user. So let's see how we can do. So we are having two selectors in order to identify the elements. The one is class selector and another one is the ID selector. So let us start with the ID selector. So I will give this division an ID to be suppose container 1, right? So this division is basically will act as a container 1. Okay, so this is a container 1, and let's give, okay, now I'll save it and I will go to the style section, and we know that how we can basically use the ID selector in our CSS style sheet by preceding the name of ID with the hash symbol. So, and the name of ID is container 1, so I'll write here the container 1, and then within the curly bracket I will write the various CSS rules that we want to apply on the container 1. Okay, so suppose what I want to apply two CSS rules. Suppose one, I want to change its background color should be yellow, suppose, right? And the second is suppose I want to set font weight to the larger, suppose, right? Okay, this font weight will basically increase or decrease the size of a font. Okay, or the font weight can make the font or text to be bold or normal. Okay, so I'll save it and let's see what exactly happened. I'll go to the browser, refresh it, and you can see what happened. The background color of the first division become yellow, and the font weight, I don't know, let's say font weight, suppose bold. Okay, let's save it. Let's see, it may work. Yes, see, the font weight is now bold. So this is how we can use the id selector in order to um, create the division or sections within the web pages. So how since we have defined the css property for the division, so the p tag is a child of a division tag, so p tag automatically inherit the that css property from its div tag, right? That's why that paragraph background color and it become yellow, and the paragraph text become bold. Okay, now suppose what I want to now use a class selector. So let's first define the class. Okay, so we know that the class uh, selectors in css we can define by preceding the class name with dot operator. So dot, and suppose let's get make a class uh, red italic text. Suppose red italic text. Okay, what I want, red italic text, and under red italic text, of course I will give the color to be red, and font style will use font style. So don't worry, these what exactly font style is, and we will learn all these properties that css provide. We'll learn one by one. So right now we are using font style maybe uh, italic. Okay, so now red italic text having two property within it, the color red and the font style would be italic. And let us make another class dot suppose large bold text, right? So large bold text. Okay, so what I will do here, I'll set to another css property. One is a font weight to be bold, and font size to be suppose 40 pixel. Okay, and I will save it. So what I have done here, I have created two uh, different class basically, right? Red italic text and large bold text. And if I want to apply either this class or this class or both class to any element, then we use the class attribute of that element, right? Suppose I want to apply here in the h1, I want to apply which class, suppose that red italic text. Okay, so what I will give, the in h1 attribute class will contain red italic text, so the text of the h1 will become red and italic. I'll save it, I'll go to the browser and will refresh it, and you can see this become red and italic. Okay, and suppose what I want, that here the container paragraph should have set its class attribute to large bold text. Suppose Okay, so I'll copy and paste here in class attribute large bold text. So save it, and now what will happen, the paragraph text will become large and bold, because now this paragraph belong to the class large bold text. So if I'll go to the browser and I'll refresh it, you can see the paragraph become large and bold. Paragraph text become large and bold, you can see here, right? And we can apply more than one class to any element by simply uh, putting space and then the name of another class. Suppose I want to apply large bold to this paragraph as well as red italic. So what I will do, I will write here, after making a space, I will write the name of another class, red italic text, right? And I will save it, and I will go to the browser, and now this will become large bold as well as red italic. I'll save it, and you can see it's a large bold and red and italic. So all because this paragraph now belong to two class, one is large bold and after a space the another class. Similarly we can give as many class as we want, as we need, right, by just simply putting the space between the name of two class. Okay, and let us make this division uh, id should be not id class, because we cannot use id more than once. So but we can use class more than once in more than one element. So class should be suppose red italic. So what will happen, all the element of this division will become red italic. And what I want to make another id attribute also to be suppose container 2, right? So container 2 is our another id which identify this division. Okay, then the class. So contain, let us define the container id. Let's define the rule for the container id. So we know that for id we start with a hash, then container id, the name of the id. Then I want to set the background color to be suppose green. Okay, now I will save it and go to the browser and refresh it. Now you can see clearly we are having two division, one division having its background color yellow and the another division background color green with the class what, red italic. So the heading as well as the paragraph become red italic, right? So you can see here the division are now user can visualize by setting the background, okay, of the division element, right? So this is the first division having one element, and this is the second division having two element. Okay, so this is how we can use the CSS class and id selector with the diff element in order to create the section or the divisions in our web page, right? And friends, well, after watching this video lecture, if you feel that is very helpful, then please like and subscribe the video. Thank you guys.